Package. Ooh, nice. So cute. Can't believe I made this. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today, I want to do something a little bit different from the recent content that I've been putting out. It is a review and a process walkthrough of a recent project that I had an opportunity to work on. It's called Yukonola. I was involved with the creation of the branding as well as the packaging aspect. So to give you a little backstory about Yukonola, Yukonola is named after the founder Yuko. Yuko is a good friend of my cousin Shirley, and my niece Jeannie actually came up with the name Yukonola. So granola, her name is Yuko, so my niece was like, why don't you just call it Yukonola? And so fast forward to today, that's how Yukonola was born. Yuko was actually diagnosed with thyroid cancer. She's good now. She's fighting it. Because of how she was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, she had to embrace living like a healthier life, and she had to cook and make food that was healthy for herself. She embraced the healthier living. And as a result of it, I think she started creating her own granola at home, and it was super tasty. People around them were telling her, you need to put this out on the market. It's so healthy and so tasty. So when Yuko reached out to me, and actually when my cousin Shirley reached out to me about potentially taking on this project, I really wanted to, just because I heard about this backstory and it really touched my heart, and I wanted to be a part of something that I believed in. Yuko actually ended up sending me a lot of the samples for the granola. You know, like I got to try all the different flavors that she was working on, and I was sold. I was like, okay, this is really good. I don't even like granola that much, but it was way better than any granola that I have tried. So I was like, let's get started, and that's how we started working together. So the first step to branding Yukonola was, first I had to get on a phone call with her. And since we are in different states, I'm based here in LA and Yuko is in Honolulu, Hawaii, we had to hop on a little Zoom call and do our little consultation. You know, I told her about how I personally thought it would be really cool to brand Yukonola as something that didn't feel like the traditional granola or healthy food packaging. You know, like when you go to Whole Foods or when you go to those like healthier grocery stores, you tend to see a lot of healthy foods branded as very brown and green, lots of like leaves and stuff. And I told Yuko, like, I don't think just because the food itself is healthy, it needs to look healthy and not fun. Something that I really loved about Yuko's Yukonola, was when I tried them, they actually tasted really, really good. Like, I don't even know how she makes them, because I know she doesn't use like as much sugar as a lot of the other granola brands use. I was like, okay, this is really crazy. Like, I don't know what she's doing, but she's making healthy living and healthy eating a lot more enjoyable and fun. And I told her, I think that's the angle we should have when it comes to branding your project, because I don't want this to get packaged as just another healthy, over the top, like green leaves, very tacky illustrations, whatever. Like, I want this to feel modern, and I want this to be something that even younger people can see at the market and you just want to grab it because it looks so cute. Because honestly, I felt like it deserved that kind of attention from people. Once we decided on a good concept for Yukonola, I got started on a variety of logo ideas. I put together 8 different compositions for her to take a look at. She chose one of her favorite design, and that became the Yukonola logo. So if you look at the Yukonola logo, you see that it has like a pink circle in the middle, and it's got this like blue shade going on in the background. That's kind of like the background color of the logo, and Yukonola is in red. And if you look at the shape the circular shape behind Yukonola, you'll actually notice that it's not a perfect circle. When I was concepting a good logo for her, we wanted to go for something minimalistic, wanted it to be something cute and modern, but I didn't want the circle to be perfect because to me that didn't feel organic. And Yukonola, it's all about being organic. It's branded as the organic granola from Hawaii. I decided that it would be really cute to hand draw like a shape that isn't necessarily, it's not a perfect circle. And that kind of to me represented what her granola was. It's something that's not super perfect. It's an organic shape and it's fine. It's perfect that way. That's kind of the little meaning behind why I didn't go with like a perfect circle behind Yukonola, but rather a more organic and natural shape. So that was our basis for the main logo. Another cool aspect of this branding project that I got to work on after completing the logo design is the packaging. So Yuko needed a lot of packaging for, the granola that she was selling. She already had 3 different flavors in mind that she wanted to sell. So Yuko sent over all the different packaging and the samples because she just received the first batch of packaging that she had already printed, filled it up with the different flavors and sent them over to me. So the first flavor is called the Original Crunch. For this one, we decided to keep it as just like the original branding that we have going on. So you can see the red logo here, the pink organic circle. We put a little made in Honolulu here so that every time you open it up, people can be reminded of where it comes from. Other important information that we thought was essential to be included in the packaging was obviously the tagline of the organic granola. I also wanted to have a little slit here so that they can see what really is inside the packaging. We went back and forth a lot on whether the transparent slip here should be completely clear or a little bit more matte and translucent, but Yuko really loved the idea of having a very matte looking packaging. She felt like that would represent the aesthetic we have going on a lot better. And so we went with a more matte and slightly translucent packaging. Underneath it, you can see all the ingredients listed. So it says, whole almonds, hemp hearts, flax meal, rolled oats, and of course, you can't forget the net weight. And if you look in the back, you have nutrition label. So she worked with a professional nutritionist to come up with this label. She gave me all the info that I needed to include along with the label. So we have all of that included, distributed by Yukonola LLC, Honolulu, store in a cool place. We also decided to put Yuko's little backstory in the back of the packaging because honestly, I was really moved when she told me about how she had thyroid cancer, and we just really wanted to let the consumers know that this is what makes Yukonola special, and this is what they're all about. This is why she came up with this brand. I personally felt like that was a very important part of her brand story that needed to be included. So I asked her to write up a little verbiage, which she did, and it's great. And so we included that, and then we of course signed it like made with love, Yuko at the bottom. And of course, just in case these end up going into the big distributors or gets distributed into big markets like Whole Foods or something, we left a little space here so that they can stamp like the best before and everything. So for the second flavor called Tropical Paradise, we wanted it to feel very in line with the original flavor that is the organic granola, but we wanted to change it up so it still feels more fun and dynamic to have all the different flavors. And so instead of just changing out the flavor name, we wanted it to look completely different from the original flavor and also our third flavor. For the second flavor, Tropical Paradise, I thought it would be really cute. Instead of using that organic circle, we wanted to use this leaf shape that represents the tropical paradise-ness, and also change the background to pink so that it kind of complements that shade of mint green, and also change out the typography to a nice shade of blue so it feels more tropical, oceany. I think this one turned out really cute. We really like the color combo going on here. And we can't forget our third flavor, of course. We have the Cha-Cha chocolate, which is actually personally my favorite flavor because I love chocolate. For Cha-Cha chocolate, we wanted it to be a cute little chocolate bar to represent the chocolatiness. Since, you know, it's a little bit more browny and beigey, I wanted to add a little pop of color here. So we turned all the typography into this very bright yellow, and I really loved how it turned out. I loved how it contrasted with the rest of the more muted background color scheme. When you place all the products together, I think they look really cute together as a group, and that was intentional. We definitely wanted the products, when placed together, to look it almost like synergized together so that people would maybe want to buy all three. So in order to make sure that the packaging project went well, there was a lot of back and forth that Yuko and I had to do. So first of all, she had to decide on a manufacturer, you know, get in touch with them. And once she figured out the rough like dimensions and everything and basic like packaging of this bag that she was gonna work off of, she then let me know what it was, and I asked her for the die line. So a little tip to consider when you're working on packaging projects is always ask your client if she's working with a manufacturer already and if they can provide the die lines for you. Although there are some special cases where if the packaging, it's not something that's kind of more generic and doesn't already exist, there are chances where the client will ask you to make your own die line, and I have definitely done that before too. But if the die lines are already readily available, I always recommend asking for those and then working off of those, because it just reduces a lot of headache, and it's a lot easier for the printers too to work off of a die line that they provided, because that's something that they're used to working with. And so it's good to work off of something they already have, like a little template, and that way you can always make sure that there's no surprises when you test print the projects. That actually leads me to my second point, which is to always test print. And I know sometimes it's a little bit hard to convince your client to do a little test print, because I do know that it costs a little bit more money to do so. But for me, I personally think it's always safe to test print, because if you just go into mass printing before making sure to test print and making sure that everything looks good and there's nothing that's, you know, like looking a little off or cut off on the sides, then I feel like down the line, you actually are saving yourself a lot of money. We're humans, we're not perfect, and we can sometimes miss like one or two little things that may end up costing the client a lot more. So I think it's smart to always encourage your clients to test print. And thankfully, Yuko was down to do the test print and she was happy with how all the bags turned out. So she went into mass printing afterwards. And another tip to consider is also designing in CMYK color instead of the RGB. Although RGB, when you're designing on Photoshop or Illustrator, you're gonna think like, oh, RGB colors look a lot more vibrant, like I'm just gonna design in this and not really think too much about the color mode. But CMYK is generally the color system that you use for printing, and therefore you always want to design in CMYK instead of RGB, as RGB is a little bit more on the digital space. Because you know how like when there's like light coming out from behind the computer screen, so it like makes colors and everything look a lot more vibrant? Well, that is not the case when you print, and so make sure you keep that in mind. Some other printing color methods, I've also worked with clients who wanted me to pick the Pantone colors instead of like RGB or CMYK. They just wanted me to tell them all the different Pantone colors to use for each and every color. These are some other ways colors can be done. Okay, so now that we finished talking about the different aspects of the branding and also the packaging that I worked on, thought process behind it, I actually need to hop on over to the office and shoot some product photography for Yuko to use. Right, so we're at the office now. Hi Snowy. Yuki over here, hello.
Hey.
And then we got our coffee and we have all the stuff. Now I'm going to set up all the shooting gear and then we're gonna shoot some product photos. We are cutting open the granola products and kind of spilling it in like a super aesthetic way. And once everything is kind of out, well, not everything actually, because I still want this to keep the form a little bit. But yeah, then you just want to clean up the mess so that it's not like actually messy. It should be like aesthetic messy. All right, so we finished shooting. We are tired and I'm gonna go home now and edit all the photos. Enjoyed today's video and let me know in the comments if you guys enjoyed this new formatting and this half vlog, half project review, whatever this is. I don't even know what to call these. Also, let me know in the comments if you guys have any recommendations for what I should call this new type of video and this category. I had a lot of fun doing it. I think it's a good way for me to remember all the different components of what this project was and why I did it, and it was fun to verbalize it too. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the week. Someone sent me this meme online where people are now signing off on emails or things by saying like, I hope you're staying positive, but also testing negative. And I like that. So yeah, I hope you guys are staying positive and staying negative. All right. Bye.